Welcome to the program, and I reckon we have got ourselves the mother of all busted narratives to get through today. You see, it involves China and COVID and, of course, the media, and even more, a certain Donald J. Trump. Now, I want you to cast your mind back to the heady days, the early days of the pandemic, when for one brief moment, one man dared to say where the pandemic had started.
Why do you keep calling this the Chinese virus? There are reports of dozens of incidents of bias against Chinese Americans in this country. Your own aide, Secretary Azar, says he does not use this term. He says ethnicity does not cause the virus. Why do you keep using this? A lot of people say it's racist.
It's not racist at all. No, not at all. It comes from China. That's why. Comes from China. I want to be accurate.
Well, that, of course, prompted howls of outrage. But you know what? He was right. And the media that lost its collective mind called him a racist and said, "Oh, my God, can we please stop talking about where the virus we're obsessing about came from?" They were wrong. How wrong? Let's find out as we go taking a stroll down memory lane and go busting the narrative. Right, now, remember that? It came from China, he said. Oh my God. The only thing worse than saying that was to suggest, if you'll recall, that the virus came from a lab. That was, of course, an insanely irresponsible thing to make. You know, when the pandemic had originated in Wuhan, a city with a giant laboratory complex devoted to playing with coronaviruses and doing so-called gain-of-function research into how to make them more dangerous. Why would anybody think that's where they came from? And remember, how did the media treat anybody who went and dared say this?
Just weeks ago, Dr. Anthony Fauci rejected the conspiracy that coronavirus was man-made in a lab in Wuhan, China.
Both scientists and the U.S. intelligence community agree that this coronavirus was not man-made. That is not a possibility.
Really just take a critical scientific look at the evidence that's available. Our belief is that it's much more likely this came from an animal.
You said the overwhelming amount of evidence indicates that's a lab leak. I believe most card-carrying viral phylogenists and molecular virologists would disagree with you.
I'm really sorry that the lab leak has become such a distraction for so many people, because frankly, we still don't know. There is no evidence really to say.
And the White House is downplaying the report because nothing is conclusive, and also then defending Dr. Fauci.
There is not a consensus right now in the U.S. government about exactly how COVID started. There is just not an intelligence community consensus. The president believes it's really important that we continue that work and that we find out as best we can how it started so that we can better prevent a future pandemic.
We have been grateful to Dr. Fauci's wisdom. We've been grateful to Dr. Fauci's advice during the COVID response. This is someone, again, who has spent his almost entire career fighting for the well-being, the health of the American people.
That's right. It was all just a conspiracy theory. No way the virus could have leaked from a lab. It had to have been that Wuhan wet market. Social media giants also all worked together to censor the lab leak theory, and even posting about it could see you banned from platforms like Facebook and Twitter, at least in the pre-Elon Musk days. Well, anyway, that was then. This is now. And according to the Wall Street Journal, yes, well, guess what, Virginia? There is a Santa Claus, and he originated in Wuhan. COVID did come from a lab, according to this report that says, according to a new Energy Department report, and gosh, aren't the media sad about it? Just look at this CNN discussion. They look like they are reporting a death in the family. They found out that, yes, COVID did come from a lab.
I want to ask about a new Wall Street Journal report out this morning that a classified intelligence report from the Department of Energy concludes that the coronavirus pandemic most likely did not emerge naturally, but it did come from a laboratory leak. Did the coronavirus pandemic start in a lab? Is that what you believe now?
Well, Dana, there is a variety of views in the intelligence community. Some elements of the intelligence community have reached conclusions on one side, some on the other. A number of them have said they just don't have enough information to be sure. Here's what I can tell you. President Biden has directed repeatedly every element of our intelligence community to put effort and resources behind getting to the bottom of this question.
Well, actually, they're dealing with a bigger loss, the loss of their narrative. That's all the time we have. Thanks for watching. I am James Morrow, and I will see you next time on Busting the Narrative. To support this channel, please like, share, and subscribe below. Bye-bye.